Hello, hello. Good evening. This is Dallas Cohen, the Rebound Coach, and you are watching or listening to the Rebound Coach Live. We are very, very glad that you're here today, and we have something kind of deep to talk about. Okay, kind of deep to talk about today, but we will not be long. At least I don't think so. I want to get straight to the point tonight. Like I said, we have something really important to talk about, and that is self-sabotage. So before we jump into the deep, I just want to tell you a little bit about myself and why we are spending this time together today. If you stumbled on this in your Facebook feed, or you saw it on YouTube, or someone passed it to you and said, girl, you got to listen to this. Hello, if we're first meeting, my name is Dallas Cohen, the Rebound Coach. And you might say, well, what exactly is a rebound coach? Like, I've never heard of that. What does it mean? So, backing things up, I was raised by a family that loved God. They loved each other. They were married for a lifetime. And they were a great example of marriage and family. Okay. At the same time, I was molested from the time I was 8 till I was about 16. And that radically affects how you see yourself, because you're growing your identity in those years. For me, how I saw God and how I related to men. So fast forward, when I met the man that I married and eventually divorced, there were definitely red flags. There were definitely reasons not to be together, not to get together. There were reasons to be together also. But number one, I was a praying woman, and I am a praying woman. I believed that God was with us. And because of that, I believed that no matter what trouble would come, we would be able to overcome it. We'd outlast it. And trouble came like right away. It wasn't, people have honeymoon periods and then a switch. Wasn't my story. Trouble came right away and never quite went away. We got into the cycle of what I call coping in crisis, where you're like barely making it, and then there's an explosion and some sort of crisis, and you're barely making it again, and we're back in the cycle. Things came to a head around January 2020. January 2020, when he left for another woman. We had been married almost 10 years by then. He left for another woman, and I found out him and that woman had been plotting my murder for months, actually, by the time I found out. So needless to say, like, your whole life comes to a halt when that happens to you. I hope that never happens to you, but your whole life comes to a grinding halt, and you have to make some really, really hard decisions and make some scary moves. And for me, I had a choice to make. I could allow kind of the path that he had me on, the path that I had agreed to tell me who I was, tell me what I could have, how many days I had left on the planet, or I could choose life. Through a series of God-ordained divine events, my life is spared. My children and I are safe. And you and I are having this conversation today. I don't believe in accidents. If you are listening to this recording, there's a reason. So I want to encourage you to pay attention, to take notes, to listen in, because there's something here in this message that is for you. Then I wrote a book out of that entire situation that happened in my life, not just that situation, but everything that led up to it. And the name of my book is called I Choose Life, Rewrite Your Love Story and Change Your Legacy. And if anything in my story resonated with you, this is your manual. This is your manual, not just for practical ways to be free, but also understanding some of the understanding behind why something like this might be happening in your life and what you can do to make changes. And so you can find this at thereboundcoach.com/book, thereboundcoach.com/book, and it'll be there for you. So I want to get into today's topic. It is pretty deep, like I mentioned, not for the faint of heart, but definitely worth it. So I want to talk about self-sabotage today. And it's something that we most of the time are not paying attention to. It is going on in the background, making decisions for us and blaming us for it. Blaming the conscious mind for something the subconscious mind did. And it takes a very trained eye, and to be honest, it takes eyes outside of yourself to see a pattern, to see like, hey, I notice that this is happening again and again. I notice there's a certain kind of man that keeps showing up in your life. I notice there's every work environment you get into is toxic. I notice that you get to a certain point in success and then stop. I notice that there's a pattern. And so patterns teach us. Don't be afraid to pay attention to patterns, because they show us really important things if we are bold enough, brave enough to look at it. And so I want to give you 3 keys to overcoming self-sabotage. So here's what we know. We, in this day and age, they call it the information age. Not sure if that's still the case, but last time I heard, we were in the information age, and here we are on social media. If you're listening to me, you're listening through some sort of device. We are on some sort of social media, whether that's Facebook, YouTube, Clubhouse. This is where people connect, right? And gather information. We are information junkies. So we're running to Google and Bing and DuckDuckGo and whatever else to go find whatever information we need or want or wonder about. And we're constantly putting in. What we're not doing, and what takes effort and discipline to do, is to sit in the silence and listen to yourself. Listen to God. Listen to you. That takes discipline. It takes concentration. It takes effort. It is the worthy endeavor, not just a worthy endeavor. It is the worthy endeavor. And that practice holds keys to freedom. And so when we are able to sit and listen to our hearts, to our minds, to our spirits, to our God, that reveals cycles of self-sabotage. Because we're constantly going. When we constantly go, we're constantly listening to, media. We're listening to movies and television and music and books and chatter, just noise, right? We're constantly distracted from the areas that we can be cleaning up. And what we do instead is fight all of the outside battles. Because we're fighting a battle. We want to get to freedom. We want to get to breakthrough. We want to get to healing. We want to get to happy, right? Like that's a destination. We want to get to happy. And we're fighting all these other outside battles to get there. When I have this man, or when I don't have this man, when I have babies, when my babies are grown, when I have more money, when my money is managed better, when I am slimmer, when whatever, right? So and we spend a lot of energy fixing other people, or trying to. Okay, because we think if that other person is better, my life will be better. This is that was definitely a cycle of mine when I was married. I fought very, very hard for my husband to change, and did everything I possibly could imagine to do. And even so naturally you'd say, oh man, you're trying to fix another person. That's dangerous. And it is, and it's wrong, and it's futile, right? We can't fix other people. But where that was coming from was not a place of, it wasn't solely a place of, I want you well because I want you well, period. It was, I want you well so my life can be good. Not taking into account that I can make my life good regardless of his choices. Right? When we, at least for me, when I was married, I was very dedicated to my marriage, very dedicated to the covenant of marriage. and believing that I didn't have an option to be out of my marriage. So the only way that my life could get better was if he changed. And as the years stretched on and he did not change, I remember seasons of being very suicidal because I didn't see a way out. I didn't see a way out of misery. And as long as he was going to terrorize me and our household, I was going to have a miserable life. And so the blind spot was not love and care for him. It wasn't sacrifice for him, which is what people tell wives when they have the kind of trouble I had. Emotional abuse, mental illness, spiritual abuse, those kind of things. They say things like, well, love him better, submit more, be a better wife. That's going to change things. Or be quiet and just pray about it more, fast, pray, read your Bible. The issues are not those things. The issue is not even, it wasn't even my love for him or care for him or a wife's care for her husband. It's the missing piece is care for herself and ownership, right? Ownership of her own life and her own decisions. Again, I was trying to help him be healed so that my life got better, my family got better, my household got better, when I had the power to make things better all by myself. It would require a change, big, drastic change, but I had that power. And taking your power back is a huge step in changing self-sabotage. And so the first key of overcoming self-sabotage, be aware of what you're addicted to. Like addiction? I'm not addicted. I'm not addicted to anything. Oh, but we are. And I say we because I am in here with you. Okay. So I'm listening to a new author, and I haven't listened to his book yet, but when I have, I will share. But his name is Joe Dispenza. I just learned of him recently. I was listening to some of his stuff on YouTube, and a concept just really grabbed me. And he talked about addictions, but not addictions to outside substances, physical substances, addictions to an identity. So a lot of, if it's your first time here with me, you're not sure who I am, what I'm about, but a lot of what I teach on and train on and coach on and what I help my clients overcome is identity. And so, my book is I Choose Life, Rewrite Your Love Story and Change Your Legacy. Your love story, how you learn to love and be loved, what you learned that love meant, what you learned what worth meant, how you learned to find worth, what you associated with worth. So undoing all of those things, it's the long and laborious process of transformation. So what are we addicted to? So in Joe Dispenza's words, the examples that just got me, okay? People use their ex for their addiction to hatred. Like, you're addicted to hatred. And we use things like an ex or a betrayer or a mother, someone who harmed us, someone who abused us, to exercise our addiction to hatred. The other example he gave that stuck with me, we use coworkers and just random people for our addiction to judgment. So let's just break that down for 2 seconds. Okay, just 2 seconds. When we want to feel better about ourselves, our decisions, where we stand, it is an easy go-to to start putting down other people. And some of us are like, well, no, Dallas, I'm not hateful. I don't do that. I don't do that. But we do. But we do. If we listen to gossip things or watch, gossip vlogs or come into clubhouse rooms where they're talking ish about celebrities, like, that's what we're doing. We're putting those other people down to feel better about ourselves, our choices, our lifestyle, our whatever, right? We do this. We sit in judgment all the time. And the coworker example is pretty universal. Like, oh gosh, here they come again. I don't like them. Right? We just don't vibe. I just don't like her. There's a reason that so-and-so is rubbing you the wrong way. And guess what? It's not about them. Whatever the reason is, has nothing to do with that other person. It is yourself, dealing with yourself. Or should I rather say, not wanting to deal with yourself. So we spend all this time and energy being judgmental of someone else. And I sat in the seat of judgment. So please don't hear this as like, I'm coming for you. Like, this is all of us. This is all of us. So be aware of what it is you are addicted to. Are you addicted to struggle? Something I talk about in my book is the concept of glory in the struggle. I mentioned at the top of the call here, I was raised in a godly household. My parents, my dad's an ordained minister, marketplace minister. We had a business. And so all those things were pretty exciting. The other side of that was we were always really broke. Like, my dad would take risks, and we were homeless. I was homeless twice with him. We were always kind of on the verge of getting kicked out. We'd have the lights turned off. We'd have the water turned off. We had stores that were like, oh my gosh, if we don't have a miracle, we're not going to pay the rent. And oh my gosh, right? So it was always this dramatic, we're about to fall off the edge of the cliff feeling, right? And the way that my dad framed it to us, no shame, no blame, this is just what happened. He would frame it to us like, we're doing the work of the Lord. And when you do the work of the Lord, you're going to struggle. And this is what that struggle looks like. And so what I associated with that in my child's mind was glory in the struggle. Like, we're doing this hard work and it's worth it. And this struggle is worth it. And, hard work and goodness, right? Because I saw my father as a good person, an honorable person. So an honorable person does hard work and struggles. That's what got stuck in my head. And for the remainder of my life, I had been associating struggle with glory. And when I say glory, that's a big word, but really like honor. There's honor in struggle, and there's honor. You got to persevere, and you got to sweat, and you got to grind. That's not just a concept that I made up. It's a concept that's in our society right now. Like, there's appreciation for perfectionism, for overwhelm, for multitasking. We're so busy, and we glorify in that. Oh, I've got 18 things to do. I've got so much going on. There's so much on my plate. Right? Like, we wear that as a badge of honor. And I was very addicted to that. And I am a recovering perfectionist. I am a recovering struggle champion. Okay. Because that's not for me anymore. That's not for me. Okay. We get to choose what's for us. We get to choose when it's our turn. We get to choose when we're done with struggle. And I am unwinding that very tightly coiled idea from my subconscious. And if I had the scientific term for the place in the brain where those things live, I would give you that. Joe Dispenza can give you that, because he goes pretty deep in like the studies in the brain. And I don't have the term, but I can tell you that I am uncoiling that from my identity, because I no longer want to live as the martyr. And when women get into abusive relationships, one of the identities that we take on is that martyrdom complex. I am here to save him, right? And we might not say that from a spiritual perspective, like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to be the savior. But check it. There's something in us that wants to save that man from his own destruction. And we stand in the way of the Holy Spirit, and we stand in the way of consequences, very natural consequences. We circumvent. I will bear that brunt so that person doesn't get the consequence. Why? Because we get glory in the struggle. There's a payoff. There's a psychological payoff for martyrdom in relationships, in spirituality, in money. I don't even have to touch that whole message of, glory in poverty, right? Or spirituality and poverty. If you really want to know God, you'll be broke. Okay. I really hope that we've evolved beyond that. I really do hope that. In case you have not evolved beyond that, please make a different choice. Or don't. Like, it really is your decision how you live your life, but you're invited to choose life. So being aware of what you're addicted to is where to start, right? So sit with yourself in a journal, give yourself some time and say, where are my patterns? Or ask a trusted friend. If you're married, ask a spouse. And it'd be like, oh my God, they're going to point out all the bad parts. Yeah, they are. You'll live. You'll live. Because check it. Most of us are pointing out our own bad spots to ourselves anyway, all day, all the time, right? We're just not taking any steps to change them. So when someone else has to say it out loud, like, it's still worth it. So take the burn, take it, write your stuff down, see where you're at. Okay. So step number 1 to overcoming self-sabotage. Be aware of what you're addicted to, the negative cycles, the negative stories, the pieces of identity that you are fighting for, right? And that's twisted. It's twisted, but it's true. And we will stop. I know for myself, I'm telling on myself, y'all, I would do certain things in business because I had glory in the struggle, right? So I do certain things in business and I get up to a certain point and stop, or take efforts that are difficult, but I know won't be effective. And then I can say another story that I'm unraveling. I do all the right things and it still doesn't work out. I do all the right things and it doesn't work out, right? That's a story. That is something I was so addicted to. I was so fighting for. I would not be effective in business so that I can say I did all the right things. But I did the right things in ways that I knew would not be effective because I had glory in the struggle. Right? Like, that's twisted when you say it out loud, but but it's something that really went on in me, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. Step number 2 for overcoming self-sabotage. Once you know what the negative cycles are, and we also know what the right steps are. We are information junkies, y'all. You're on a call like this, you're on watching this live stream, you're watching this recording because you want to know how to grow. And the truth is, anyone who's effective is not saying anything new. There's nothing new under the sun. They're telling you things that are true that you need to hear again because you didn't make the right decision the first time, right? You didn't make that change the first time, or you made a change at a certain level and it's time to make that change at a deeper level, right? So we grow, and this is a process, and it's an evolving process. So step number 2, do it anyway. Do the right thing anyway. Follow your commitments anyway. Keep your promises to yourself anyway. Do what you know is right to do anyway. So I am on a weight loss journey. I'm on a health journey. And you know what we do when we're on those journeys? Like, we change our food that we eat every day, and we change the amount of water we take in, and we change our movement. And you don't feel like doing that stuff every day. Like, some days, I would rather go to sleep. And some days the food looks good. The food I'm not supposed to eat looks good. It looks like I could just eat that and then it would taste good and it would be so nice, right? Commitment, overcoming self-sabotage. I'm not going to sabotage my own progress again, because my identity as fat girl has got to go. Not that I'm saying there's something wrong with being fat. Everybody gets to make their own decisions, and we're not ready until we're ready. I can say for me, that's gotta go. It's got to go. I fight to become someone new, and you can fight to become someone new, and it will be a fight, because however old you are is how long you've been a certain kind of person. And that certain kind of person has developed over all these years. And if you're trying to change direction, it's uphill. It's uphill. But again, you're going to live the rest of your life anyway. So you want to live it in the pattern you're at, or you'd like to make a change. Do it anyway. Commitment over convenience. Commitment over preference. When if you've been hanging out with me for any length of time, you know that we have a special retreat coming up. It's called Sanctuary Experience. It's in a week and a half, April 8th, 9th, and 10th in Clearwater Beach. And I've been inviting just about every woman with a pulse that I know, and some women with pulses that I don't know. So I've been inviting everyone, and I hear a lot of, wow, this would be so nice, but, right? And then they name that thing they're committed to, that they're addicted to, rather. So for one, she's a single mom. She has some teenagers, and I asked her to come be a part of this. And she's like, oh my gosh, this looks wonderful. I really wish I could do this, but I really wish I could do this. But, well, you know, so-and-so is in this grade and so-and-so is in that grade, and they have so many activities. Not saying that any activity conflicted with the dates, right? That wasn't the issue. It was just, I need to be in the right mindset. And I kind of chuckle, like, tell me what mindset you need to be set free, right? Like willing to not be in bondage anymore. That's the mindset you need. So we're saying we're willing to stay in bondage, like, I don't know, indefinitely until we make a different decision. Are we saying that right now? Like we don't think all of that through. So commitment does the right thing after the feeling of wanting to do the right thing leaves. And the feeling always leaves. And then you have to still make that right decision. So show up, do it anyway. Push. Be committed to not being stuck. Be committed to growth. And you can baby step it all the way down to, what can I do today that breaks a cycle for me? What decision can I make today? Can I, and some of it's like just doing things differently. Just if you commute, I don't know if that's a thing right now with the way life is, but if you commute to work or to school or to church or to someplace, go a different way. Just break the cycle. Just break the cycle. That's a small way to practice breaking the cycle. So key number 2, overcoming self-sabotage, is do it anyway. Show up, do it anyway. Step number 3 to overcoming self-sabotage is to dig. What you mean, Dallas? What we digging for? Okay. So I coach a lot of women who have lived through trauma. As a matter of fact, I serve high-achieving women of faith who have lived through betrayal, trauma, or abuse of any kind and want to reclaim territory in their relationship with themselves. So what you often hear, especially when they are just coming out of a situation, right? Like just leaving a toxic marriage or just separating from a parent that's abusive, right? So they avoid their triggers, okay? We get into this really good habit. We get really good at avoiding triggers. I don't want to talk about them. I don't want to talk about this. I don't want to see that. I don't want to hear that, right? We turn off the stuff. We don't bring certain reminders around ourselves because we are avoiding triggers. There's a season that is a good thing to do, right? Because you need to turn the fire down. You need to get out of the fire, right? But also the internal fire. You need to turn the fire down so you can breathe, so you can think, so you can pray, so you can be touched, so you can be healed, right? There's a season for that. So I'm not saying it's all bad. As time goes on and you get stronger and the fire dies down and it's a little ash and rubble heap, right? That you keep carrying around, okay? You got your ash and rubble heap and you carry it around and you got your scars and you're real proud of them, right? Sometimes you hide them, but internally you're proud of them because you still allow the scars to make decisions for you. So, so we're in that process and it's been, I don't know, 2, 5, 10, 25, 30 years, 40 years in some cases. And we're still avoiding triggers. Okay. And we say we want to be healed, break through, go to the next level, get money, get love, be healthy. Like we say we want those things, but we don't want to go and deal with the trigger. So we keep adding information. and sessions like this, we keep adding information and we learn wisdom. We go, oh, that's wise. Oh, that was good. Oh, that's so true. Oh, I'm going to share that with my friend. But do we apply? Or we have trouble applying because we're still running from triggers. I had a client that I shared a book with. I've written 2 books. I've published 2 books officially, but many years ago, I did a little ebook thing. It was my very first go, and I was very proud of it. I'm still kind of proud of it, y'all, to be honest. And it's called My Dream Now, Living a Life of Purpose Now, or something like that. So I think it's kind of cute, and I'm kind of nostalgic about it. Anyway, in it, there's activities on writing your personal life's mission statement. And I assigned that to the client. And I said, look, I wrote that when I was, 21, 22, like pretty young. It's very simple. These are very simple concepts. This should be easy. This should be cake. I follow up our next session. Hey, how'd that go? I got stuck. Okay, great. Why did we get stuck? So we're talking about what happened. And a story pops up. I couldn't write my life's mission statement because I don't know what I like anymore. And then, why not? Well, that's in a closed box and we don't deal with that. So, okay, let's talk more about this. Well, I don't want to hurt, right? I don't want to hurt. I don't want to deal with the stuff because it'll hurt. It might. Right? Like that's the truth of the matter. Dealing with our stuff, it does bring up pain. It does bring up whatever happened. It does bring up unresolved things. It does bring up answers you don't know yet. But the only way out is through. The only way out is through. You've got to go through the stuff to get out. Otherwise, we just carry it. There's a season for like, I'm not going to touch that burning thing. It's burning and I don't want to burn, right? But eventually it's time to lean in. When you work out, I work out with YouTube videos and you hear them say like, lean into the pain. Like, okay. and that burn you feel, somebody, I forgot who it was, but one of them said, that burn is change juice. I was like, oh, it's change juice. It gives you that power, right? Because that is what's happening when your muscles are burning. It's learning a new pattern. Your muscles, the muscles in your body, your cells are learning a new pattern. This is what we can do now, right? So same thing when we lean into the pain, when we look into, okay, what am I triggered by and why am I triggered by that thing? What is the pain behind that? Who do I need to forgive? Who do I need to be forgiven by? How do I need to resolve this? How do I need to make it right? Those are things we need to ask ourselves and then go do the thing. Then go do it's not enough to know. It's not enough. Self-awareness is like a really important step. It's not the final step. So it's not good enough to just know what to do. We must also be doing the things we know. And accountability is how that happens. So there's a time for avoiding triggers. There's a time for leaning in. And here's what I'll tell you. You don't have to do this scary leaning in process all by yourself. You're not alone, okay? You're not alone at all. Events like Sanctuary Experience is a tangible way to not be alone. And I know people go to houses of worship every week, and some of those houses of worship are excellent and some of them are not. In either case, many, many times you can go there for years on a regular basis and still feel very alone in facing life. And it doesn't matter if you're married or not, you can feel alone in facing your life. What I'm here to tell you is you don't have to do this alone. And we are here to help. I won't share a whole video on Sanctuary, but I do want to share a clip of this precious, precious woman who came to the last Sanctuary experience. Her name is Sam. I literally met her on site in Clearwater Beach and just invited her to join us. Hey, you look hungry. We have food. Come eat with us. And she did. And I got to know her and I invited her to share the weekend with us, and she did. And so this is her take on her VIP Sanctuary experience and what it meant to her. When you see me dancing.
Come to me. Come to me. I'm blessed. I'm really blessed. The Lord sent me to just for 2 minutes to step upstairs. You know what I mean? And He knows what is going to open doors. I mean, the door's gonna open for me, you know? Like, He sent this wonderful lady to me to ask me. I was gonna say, I wanna thank her. Yes, I'll thank her for, approaching me, but I'll thank the Lord too, as you said, for sending her to me, And it was a great experience. I cannot really explain it. I wasn't expecting any of that, just I'm shocked, And the ceremony was just the prayer, touched my heart. And after we had the inner child session, and then to go in there right after, that brought, I felt you were praying for that inner child in me, and it just amazing experience altogether. Can't say anything else. No more than that.
No more, say it again.
I say I have no more to say. It was just amazing experience. Thank you. Thank you everybody for being there for me, encouraging me, accepting me to your group.
Absolutely. Thanks for saying yes. People were like, I invited a lot of people here. And there were a lot of people that did not say yes. So it's already a blessing for you to just, okay. This is awesome, and I'm so glad you got to join us.
Yeah, I'm always open to new experiences. I want to learn more.
Beautiful.
Thanks.
Beautiful.
Okay, so what I love about her reflection, she was such a sweet woman and such a beautiful soul. What I enjoyed about that is she says, I'm open to new experiences. Because the truth was, I did invite a lot of people, and a lot of people did not say yes. And some of that is self-sabotage. I'm going to come up with reasons to stay addicted to my trauma, to stay addicted to my story of being beat down, of a story of I'm a single mom, so I can't have fun, or I don't have enough money to have fun, or I don't have enough money to do that thing to be set free. To be set free when it's literally in front of you. If you are listening, watching, if you're watching a replay and it's before April 8th through 10th, which is a few days away, so within a short span, make it your business to be found there. To be found there. You can find more information about the Sanctuary experience at thereboundcoach.com/sanctuary. thereboundcoach.com/sanctuary. It takes effort to set a new pattern. It takes effort to train your muscles and your cells to do new things. It takes effort. But if we don't do it, where will we be? And if you're okay with where you are, if you're okay with the trauma doing what it does to you, if you're okay with only getting to certain limits in your life. You're okay with only making so much money. You're okay with only getting so much help. You're okay with only getting so much love. You're okay with an identity of work and no payoff. You're okay with an identity of martyrdom. Then you're right. You should say no, stay home, and stick to your program because it must be working for you. But if it's not, if you're done with that stuff, your next step is going to thereboundcoach.com/sanctuary and signing up for your breakthrough. With that, I am going to close out this Facebook Live portion of our talk tonight. We are also on Clubhouse. You can find me under Dallas Cohen. And the name of the room is called 3 Keys to Overcoming Self-Sabotage. And it's in the club Sanctuary XP. So feel free to join us over there for the after party. I can't wait to hear from the folks in that room about their reflections, how they overcome self-sabotage, and what patterns might be happening in their lives. So be thinking that's your tee up. But thank you for joining me tonight. I'd love to see you in Clearwater in a week. And I will see you soon. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, choose life.